so tired. Hello, it's me. Sorry, I'm exhausted. I've had a long couple months, to say the least. Anyways, I wanted to do one on symptoms. I noticed that when I first started dealing with this, what had happened in the beginning was I was fine, I was normal, I was in college, I was running with my roommate every day, we were going swimming, we lived in San Diego, just a normal college student, young adult, you know, excited about life. Woke up every day normal, never had a problem. And then all of a sudden one day I started getting sick, and I started getting sick a lot, and it was like kind of like, I guess I could say, flu-like symptoms. And I would have a cold, like an extreme cold that would last for like a month, or it felt like a cold, and then I would have fevers that would run into the hundreds. And this went on for months. When I would just go to doctors when I had, you know, something like that happen, I would just go into a doctor like everyone does, and, you know, wait to see if it was a virus or bacteria that I just had to. Anyways, it kept going, and it didn't stop. And I started getting hives all over my chest and my back. Now, you have to bear with me on this one. This is real. And all I can give you is my word on what I've been through. I guess in medical records, that's all that would really show the proof of this happening, but the amount of symptoms that I went through or I've been through is absolutely unbelievably incredible. I've probably experienced it all, so please keep that in mind. When it comes to Lymes victims, usually it's multi-systematic. So, and especially long-term Lymes, the more it embeds in the body, it can pretty much just show up anywhere. So that's kind of the way it works. So anyways, I wanted to go through my symptoms because when I was getting sick, I didn't know what I was dealing with, and hopefully this will help. And if you're looking for information on your symptoms with this disease, try to research what the disease is, what it does to the body, and then research the other diseases that there are, and make sure that you are pinpointing the right problem. Don't assume you have Lyme's disease, because if you do that and you chase this, which is little is known about, and you have another serious illness that there is help out there for, you don't want to overlook that and end up harming yourself even more. So I'm not a doctor, I'm just sharing my story. Anyway, so I was getting hives all over my chest and back. They said that was viral. And I thought it was just another cold, and then when I lost my hearing in one of my ears, it was 80% of my hearing. It came back. They couldn't really find where that was coming from or why I was experiencing that. There was no infection. That came back. Then I had, and some of this is gross, it's symptoms, but I'm willing to share this with the world if it can help anyone. But I had diarrhea for a month and a half straight, and it was every half an hour. And if you could imagine being, I don't even think a normal person could ever imagine what that feels like, but if I thought, I was pretty sure I was going to die, and that was the first time I thought I was going to die out of a multiple now handful of times that I was pretty sure I was going to die. Anyways, after all that happened, I was seeing one doctor in San Diego, not getting anywhere with him. I was seeing another doctor in San Diego whenever I had an emergency because he was closer. Didn't get anywhere with him. He had no answers for me. And then I was seeing a doctor in Murrieta, which is where my mother lived, someone that she recommended. And that doctor did what was called a full blood panel. And a full blood panel is when they check for pretty much everything see if you have a deficiency in vitamins or something else that may come up in your blood, cancer, the whole nine. And at that point, I thought that was rock bottom. And now looking back, it's almost a joke. That was just the beginning. That was literally just the beginning. And I remember going in for her to read my test results and thinking to myself, okay, my body is really messed up. Like I knew something was really, really wrong. And I went in expecting the worst. You've got cancer, you've got AIDS, you've got whatever it is to make your body in this bad of a condition. And I wasn't scared per se. I just wanted answers like anyone would. I just wanted to know what it was that was happening to me. And I went in there and she read it off and said that I was completely fine, that everything came back negative. And I pretty much fell to the floor crying. Like I could not believe. I was positive that there's, how is that possible? Is what I was thinking. How is it possible to be in that much pain? Well, that was just the beginning. I thought I knew what pain was. And you'll hear this a lot with late-term Lymes victims. But people that are normal, and I've been normal, could never even fathom what we go through. Could not even, there are no words. And even me trying to explain this to you, I'll miss out on things or I'll forget to say things, but I can see why someone would think it's impossible or that it couldn't really happen, because it is that incredible, but it's real. And I'm still standing here. And for you to say that this is something I didn't go through is for you to say that I'm a figment of your imagination, and I exist, and so does my disease. So anyways, off of that, I'm sorry I get so upset. I'm sure you could understand why. But anyways, so after that had happened, I continued going to I dropped all the other doctors. I was just going to the regular practitioner, and it was constant, pretty much every other week or once a month. It started out once a month to every other week because I would have a new symptom that came up. And every time I'd go in, I would get nothing. So I'd have to spend the co-payment to go in. I would have to spend the time sitting in the lobby room. I would have to go through all the tests. Every test you can dream of, I've done. Colonoscopy, every blood test under the sun, MRIs, x-rays, everything. And he kept telling me that I was fine, and at that point I could barely walk. I stopped driving. There were times where it was hard to breathe. I was so fatigued that I'd go to bed at 3 o'clock and I would sleep all the way up until the next morning when I had to go into work. And some days I would have to crawl from my bedroom to my bathroom and sit in the basin of the tub and allow the water to just kind of wake me up. My throat was sore, like strep throat. You know what strep throat feels like. But it was like that for 6 months straight, every minute of every day. My eyes would turn bright red, and it would just happen at the drop of a dime. I couldn't control it. I would get inflammation in my stomach. My stomach it'd feel like a jabbing pain, and then it would just bloat up. I had, what would you say? Oh, I had problems with my memory, because this can also hit neurological. You have to pretty much realize that the body is just an open source for this disease or this bacteria to grow. So you have to think of it that way. It can pretty much attack anything at any time. So that happened, and yeah, I forgot, one day I was driving, and this is what made me stop driving. I was driving from work to home, and all of a sudden I forgot where I was, who I was, where I was going. I knew how to drive, like I understood what my surroundings were, but I completely forgot where I was going. So I pulled over to the side of the road and I collected myself, and that's when I knew right then and there that now not only am I a danger to myself, I'm a danger to everybody else on the road. So I just took the trolley in, and I have a beautiful car. It was a brand new car that year, and so who wouldn't want to drive their car? You know, I just knew that I couldn't take that chance. And I remember some days walking from the trolley station to my car. I would drive my car from there to my home, which was a few blocks. And I remember walking from the trolley to the car thinking I'm going to collapse in the parking lot, and they'll take me to the hospital and they'll put me in the emergency room and they'll finally figure out what is happening to me. And in the meantime, all I could do was keep going to the doctor. You can't force a doctor into realizing how serious it was. So all I knew to do was to just keep fighting and to keep going and to keep and waiting it out. Like I kept hoping that maybe it would just stop, maybe it would just go away on its own, maybe I had some weird something. Anyways, this is gonna take a couple sessions for me to say all this, so let me start again in just a moment here for the rest of it.